Toto Wolff, Mercedes team chief, stated that setup fiddling following a positive advanced step in practice for the Miami Grand Prix resulted in its vehicle suffering in qualifying. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell took to the new Miami International Autodrome in W13s with front, rear, and beam wings that had been updated, and the results were immediate. The vehicle was considerably more stable with less porpoising than earlier, resulting in Russell taking the lead and Hamilton finishing fourth. However, an attempt to make more changes backfired. Wolff stated, "On Friday, although we had seen Max Verstappen due to issues with his Red Bull, we were pretty competitive, but it got away from us in that we tried to optimize the level of downforce for FP3, which kind of threw us back on that bouncing curve, and we weren't able to cure it for qualifying either, whilst going back to what we had on Friday. We tried something that didn't seem like a big change, but affected the car badly. We went all the way back. In the end, in qualifying, the driver suffered again with the bouncing, which has such an effect on the braking zones on what the tires are doing, with the consequence we have ended up 6th and 12th. The learning is exponentially tough, but we would have hoped for better." After Mercedes failed to get either vehicle into Q3 at the previous race in Imola, Hamilton made it to the top 10 shootout and will start the 6th, with Russell starting 12th due to a lack of faith in the car. The 7-time F1 champion admits his car speed was a bit confusing from Friday to Saturday, resulting in a tense qualifying session. "We don't know why we were looking faster than we really were, and then it was a surprise in P3 final practice. We were quite far back, so it was a bit nerve-wracking going into qualifying," said Hamilton. "We've not really taken a step forward or anything. We've just got to put the work in." When asked whether it was damage limitation, Hamilton retorted, "I'm not looking at damage limitation. I'm looking at trying to do the best I can in the race. I'm generally really happy with the job I did. I did the best I could with the car that I had. It's a very hard car to drive." Toto Wolff has dismissed any notion that Mercedes discussed George Russell's late pass on Lewis Hamilton before defeating his teammate in the Miami Grand Prix with the FIA. Russell finished 5th in Florida, one position ahead of teammate Hamilton, thanks to a late safety car that allowed him to change tires in time. On the 41st lap, a collision involving McLaren's Lando Norris and AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly provided Russell with an opportunity to switch the hard tires he would begin on. Hamilton's situation was more complicated because he would already be selected a new pair after 22 laps, opting to stay on those tires for the rest of the race. After finishing 6th, the 7-time world champion expressed his displeasure with the Mercedes team, saying that it is your job to make judgments in such situations. The situation became even more heated when Russell looked to profit late in the race when he overtook his teammate to finish closer to the podium. The Silver Arrows rookie ran off track to pass Hamilton on turn 11, but was correctly forced to relinquish the position. He ultimately completed the maneuver lawfully to pass both Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, finishing ahead of his Mercedes teammate for the 4th time in a row. "There was no dialogue with the FIA, and I think that is how it should be," Wolff replied when asked if there had been a conversation with the sport's adjudicators in regards to his drivers. "It is the FIA coming back to us and saying they need to change position." Although there were other things at play, the Miami outcome has underlined the driver discussion at Brackley once again. Both Russell and Hamilton have had severe troubles with the W13 design, although it looks that the former is handling the vehicle better. Wolff and his crew have been working tirelessly to tackle the porpoising problems that have plagued the car for months. Despite Hamilton's displeasure, he said the W13 is quick, despite being super difficult to drive. "It's clear that there is potential in the car and she's fast, but we just don't understand how to unlock the potential," he said after Sunday's result. "It is a car that is super difficult to drive and on the edge of dipping in and out of the performance window, more out than in." This weekend in Miami, the Mercedes F1 team planned some experimental setup modifications on their W13 as the reigning Constructors' World Champions aim to resolve the porpoising difficulties that have plagued them since the start of the season. Mercedes had to raise the ride height of the car due to the intensity of the uncontrollable bouncing to improve the space between the floor and the tarmac. While this has decreased the degree of the porpoising, it has had the unintended consequence of lowering the car's downforce and consequently its performance. Wolff said ahead of the Miami weekend that Mercedes has identified a few potential possibilities for the W13 and plans to do some tests during the 3 hours of practice time at the Miami International Autodrome. While the team will not be releasing a substantial upgrade to the W13 this weekend, Wolff said that a few viable approaches to decreasing porpoising have been found. This implies that the Miami weekend effectively functions as a weekend of analyzing proof of concept. If a solution works, it helps the team define the path forward. Wolff discussed the team's thought process coming into the weekend to the media during a sponsored event for IWC Schaffhausen in Miami. "We're trying to find a solution that not only fixes the bouncing," he said. "You can fetch up the floor and make it stiffer and reduce downforce, but at least make the car more stable. That's not the direction we're going." Unfortunately, with no testing, every race weekend is a little bit of a live experiment. You can't replicate the bouncing that we see on track in the wind tunnel. Therefore, it's like in the old days, a little bit of trial and error. What does it actually do in real life? Therefore, we are looking at a few directions where we believe they could help us solve the problem long term, without losing the goodness of the downforce by just lifting it up. But Wolff believes the team is unlikely to find a cure that could result in an immediate leap up to the front. "There will be tweaks on the car this weekend where we think we can get more direction," he explained. "But the performance of the car, we won't unlock it from race weekend to the other." Mercedes failed to fight for a race win in the inaugural Miami event, which was yet another loss for the team. While Wolff predicted that Mercedes may revert to the specs used in the first preseason test in Bahrain and run larger side pods, he claimed he does not know how they would enhance the W13 vehicle ahead of the Spanish Grand Prix later this month. When asked if Mercedes will look at switching back from the zero-pod design they have used over the first 5 races of the season, Wolff said Mercedes wouldn't discount anything. Wolff added, "But we need to give all of our people who have produced great race cars in the past the benefit of the doubt, and we believe this is the route to go down." Barcelona is definitely going to be a point in time when we are able to correlate with what we've seen in February, in the first test there with the old concept, and gather more data. I'm also annoyed by always saying the same thing a lot, gathering data and making experiments, but it's physics and not mystics. Do you think Mercedes is doing the right things and taking the right steps in ensuring success for Lewis Hamilton and his teammate this season? Leave your views, questions, and thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for staying with me till the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when we add new videos in the future. Bye in the future.